All right, got the bug rearranged in the room. Giant sassy chassis outside, and I got this set up because I wasn't feeling all that confident about it being on the stands and the quick mock-up I did with this fender placement. So I got this set up. Some crossbars going across.
Ooh.
You feel me?
Yeah.
See what I'm up to here? All right. Stand way back and take a look. Does that look level to you?
Yes.
Well, I concur, but there's nothing like a good ruler to verify. From this point, we got 20.5 to the center of that tube. From here, 20.5. So those stands are equal. We're a little shy on this one. Let's check it with a bigger stick. They match, 20.5. So up to this piece of angle, we got 37.25. Same on that side. To the headlight ring, 22.25. Headlight ring, 22.25. So the car is level, and these cross braces are level. But the question is the fender height the same? To there and about the center, we got 11.25. And here, we got 11.75. Half-inch low.
Ooh.
16 on this one. 16.5 on that one. Aha! So we got to bring that up a 1/4 inch. Simple math. Because when I moved the car, this rubber block came out.
Uh-oh.
So that's our mock-up block-up. I bet that's it right there. Coming back to the measuring, we got 11.25. And there it is. Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up just a little bit more. There it is. Yeah, so that's even Steven. Looks pretty decent with the tires coming through. That tire's just inside. Over here, you know that tire's steered out a little bit. It is inside. I'm not going to turn it because I don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to commit to this. All the measurements look pretty decent. Are there any questions?
I'm cold. I gotta go get my other jacket.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break while Jamie freshens up her cold weather wardrobe. That was quick.
I'm warmer now.
Oh, nice. I was just getting carried away in my headspace. Cutting up some fiberglass. Got that front fender pinned into position. So if you don't remember the last time we did fiberglass, the way I set these up was with, you see me tack welding on steel or other metal all the time. So this is sort of a tack effort with the fiberglass. Just to adhere the two pieces and then take those screws, those pins out of place so I could continue to a nice finished surface. So if you remember Evercoat, they supplied us with all this fiberglass resin, fiberglass mat, filler, and all the gear to make this thing smooth and straight. I'm going to set some of this in the tray. Begin work. Kind of come up with this technique when I don't have gloves on. really is sort of a dance so you don't get this stuff all over you. The idea, in the end, is don't touch the liquid resin. Don't touch the goo. Hands on the tools and other areas that are dry. But of course, it never seems to work out that way.
Not if I were doing it, that's for sure.
All right, I'm gonna let that set for a quick second. Just gonna put a piece of paper down here. All right, put a little splash of this on here. Set it on. I like that. We'll bring it over to the car and lay it on. Like I mentioned, it's a simple tack. Setting this up first because we're going to figure out a little something something on this lower edge of the fender. I'll get into that fun story in a moment. All right, that's just a quick starter, so we'll be able to pop those screws out and carry on. That's going to take a little bit of time. It's pretty chilly out today. Let that whole batch cure up. But the story I was discussing is if you go way back in the archives, back when I did that fender, remember I made that nice piece of tube and laid out everything? Well, that's all gone now. I don't even remember where any of that stuff is.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Remember I threw it somewhere over there?
I don't even remember the tube, like, honestly.
You should have seen.
I'd have to go back and watch the video.
You should have seen what I went through to find that rear fender. I was walking around here for an hour. It's like, how do you lose a 4-foot fiberglass fender? Because we've had so much stuff change in that amount of time. So that fender was blown by the wind way in the back corner, covered with other car parts, but I found it. But we still have no template for the front fender radius.
Oh, no.
Curve, yes.
Well, I mean, but wouldn't you just make a template from that other one?
You're a natural.
Over there?
You're a natural. That's exactly what
like, why would you need the template when you could just copy the copy? Like you said, I'm a natural.
You took the words right out of my face.
I catch on quick. Oh, I'm acknowledging some comments today. So somebody asked what it is that you use for the template. What is that? Is that just cardboard?
Yeah, it's a heavier board than the corrugated cardboard you might see in a regular shipping box. So we're lucky enough, near Victor's house in Sylmar, California, there's a upholstery supplier. They have all the foam, all kinds of cool material. And I guess this is some kind of a thing you use doing upholstery. I don't know if it's like a backer for certain things, but they have pallets and pallets of this very heavy board and then the thinner paper that you see me using also.
So maybe if they went to like an upholstery store or like a place like that, they could find that.
Well, as a universal supplier in the United States, see, this is thinner. I found this at a company called Uline, U-L-I-N-E. It's a shipping, like they sell boxes and all kinds of bubble wrap, tape, that type of thing. So they happen to have this paper. I haven't ordered it from them in years, but I did once, and it was the same stuff. It was a little more expensive. I don't remember what we buy this for because we have a ton of it, but yeah, it's pretty indispensable. It's great stuff. Big sheets. You could do a lot of templates with it. Put this in a handy slice-o-matic. You might remember this template was actually the template on the hood of Victor's orange car. Remember we made the Zephyr hood?
I thought that shape looked familiar.
I just remembered that was the hood from the, what was it called? The cheese biscuit or something? All right, so we're going to set that there. I'm going to go in from the back with the marker and trace that contour. You're not going to see much. It's not going to be very exciting. Well, I told you it wouldn't be very exciting. That didn't work out as planned, but now we know. Try that, see what happens. I got that tire coming right up. I think I misjudged. There we are. Really just didn't want to lay on the floor. Getting old. Oh, look, isn't that much better?
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna flip that around. There we go. Got a little rough estimation. One thing about these fiberglass parts, they're never even. So that's something that I'm thinking about also. You know, this, just because it looks like something doesn't mean it's even. Look at the gaps here. You know, there's a bunch of weirdness going on. A pretty close representation with this a little bit off the floor. A little bit off the floor. Look how much lower this is now. I think I'm going to cut this off. I'd rather have this piece hanging low. That way I can always sand it back up. You get what I'm saying there?
That was a question I
So
had.
if I build it a little bit bigger, I could just sand it up to match that one. But I think I'm going to just favor this that much. Get that out of the way. Yeah, see, now we're kind of close. All right. So that being said, I'm going to put a little shelf on this. I bought more of that foil tape that I had been using. I'm just going to put some pieces of rubber or steel, whatever. I have these blocks to hold that in place. And put some foil tape over the top of it. All right, the aforementioned blocks and things. All right, that's what we're aiming for, roughly. Looking at this, it does take a little sweep in. It's not perfectly straight across. See, it's out a little bit right there. Or if I follow that, it's in a little bit. I'll just curve that a little bit like that. All right, so these blocks are for this. All right, I use this aluminum tape just because it's holds its shape pretty well for this type of operation. I could put it right there. We have a shelf for that material to land on. We're working with space. We're working in 3 dimensions. Yeah, kind of like that. And just to put some kind of a area here so our stuff doesn't just fall through. And it still might fall through, but I try to minimize that. Probably going to drip. We don't want to actually fall. I mentioned on the other side, seemingly months ago, these fenders will come off and be all finished from the underside. You know, this assembly here is going to be very loose on the first installation and then refined as it comes up to the surface. So once this is structurally nice looking out here, it'll all get ground out from the backside. It's going to be a really messy operation, but that's the way I like to do it. Because you see how fast this setup was just to get something to lay this on. So yeah, I'm gonna cut a couple pieces of triangular mat and set that in. Yeah, I just happen to have that laying on the table. I'm gonna make 3 of these. Just like that. Ooh, just like that. And all of this is covered in more detail in our earlier videos. See the color change?
Yep.
It goes from pink to green. There is talk about how much catalyst we use depending on the temperature and how fast we want it to set up. All the secrets are revealed in our earlier videos.
I will link that fiberglassing one to
And
the end of
please,
the video.
please, I put it on Facebook and Insta today. We're so close. So close to 100,000 subscribers. And a guy, I thought he was being kind of like rude or something, like checking us. He's like, why don't you let everybody know why you're asking for subscribers to get to 100,000? Because that shows YouTube that we have like an influential thing going on. You know, YouTube is free.
And we worked really hard on this channel, and I would love to.
Yeah, this doesn't happen by accident. We are working.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. It's just, yeah, we're so close. So,
well, that's the thing. This is a
subscribe.
great job. I mean, this is potentially what we could do, like bigger and better.
Yeah.
And until we hit that mark, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to be not that we're not legitimate, but again, the verification matters. It shows.
It does.
So right now, we're just out here in the wilds of YouTube, trying to do something.
Yep.
Unverified, naked and afraid, whatever you want to say it. We're not.
Okay,
100,000.
I gotta be honest too. To be honest,
You're very competitive.
I'm very competitive because I'm a nurse at heart, and nurses are competitive.
I had a tiger.
And we're very driven. But you get a plaque at 100,000, and I really, really, really want that plaque. It's like the special award, you know, like on A Christmas Story when he gets the lamp. Like, that's how I feel about it. So
must be Italian.
Yeah. Fragile.
It's a major award. All right. That's number 3. Put this one a little bit lower. Down here. Trying to, it's like hanging the drapes. All full of resin and
Don't touch it.
trying not to. I think I'm gonna have to. Major unprofessional move here. So you can see how it's just falling into the support that I've made. So we're gonna stop right there. I'm gonna put 2 pieces of flat material right on top. It's funny, some of the comments, one person said, I could watch you watching paint dry. That's pretty much what we're doing right now, isn't it?
A little bit.
Okay, that is setting. Now we're going to mock up the rear fender. Take a look. One thing I noticed with that door, the door mechanism, it was super, super close to the tire. So that's a major concern with setting this fender. You can see right here, see how I set this up? So the rubber, basically right there. That's how I came up with that setting of the fender. Flush. We're gonna have to accomplish that on the other side. And just, you know, rough layout. You know, we have this lip coming up at about 30.5 right here. 25.5 roughly. And then 6 3/4 off the ground. So we're gonna try to match that. And then, of course, you know, this all important. You don't want one fender out here like this and then the other one in there. So maybe I'll put those 2 tables across, put a straight bar for comparison again. So back here, we're going to want to accomplish the same thing. I'm going to tighten this up just so we can walk through. And put a crossbar so we can get the level of these fenders correct. This is really important stuff because if you don't do this, you're going to see it right away. As soon as the car is out in the open and you get to look at it from far away, you're going to be able to look at it and be like, wow, those fenders are way off. So I'm going to set that like that. Verify our dementia. 37. I know it's going to sag a little bit. No, not really. 37. Ooh, it's up here. Just a little bit, 1/8 up. Yeah, so it's within 1/8. A little bit high on that side. I'm going to bring this up 1/8. I brought it up a lot. 37.25. Let's put it on this one. That should do it right there. Just there. There it is. 37.25 there. Yeah, okay, that matches. Cool. So that's that. But now we want to have a line at this height. If the tables were adjustable, we'd be able to do that, but it ain't. That's where tie wire comes in. I'm gonna hang this at that height, both sides. That way we can judge the fender, but this isn't long enough. So much of building custom cars at this level is sculpting. You know, this really doesn't have a lot to do with car building, you know, all this layout. You know, you see me making all these templates and mock-ups, etc., and that's pure sculpture. Car building is just like swap out the engine, change exhaust, gonna pop the clutch and do a burnout. There isn't any of that. This is sculpture. Not that there's anything wrong with those things. Let's not all get up in arms. These are the thoughts on an hourly basis. Go through this brain. All right, now we got this. I'm gonna do a quick just hold it in place moment. Boom. My client Victor, he would love to see this because he's like, dude, we got the car back to the shop and we started doing body work and it was an inch off from side to side. An inch off.
Really?
It must have been the hired help, Victor. It surely wasn't me. So I had to go down to his shop and remedy the situation. All right, so you see how that's at that height?
Yep.
Now I'm going to take this measurement from there to there, 5 7/8. Match that on the other side. I can see already it's got to come up. Darn perfect. It's 5 3/4. It's got to drop a little. Thought it had to come up.
I would say I thought it looked a little high.
Well, you're on the good side of the equation. I was looking at it backwards. There it is, a little 1/8 more. Heck to the yes. There it is. So that's our fender height right here. You lock this up so everything doesn't fall apart in the middle of the operation. So that's nice to see, but is it forward? Is it more forward on one side than the other? That's the big question. How do we even figure that out? Guess we could measure from the windshield. See, like, where's our reference point now? There is none. Everything's all mixed up. I'm gonna measure from the visor because that's pretty close to the drip rail. Yeah, I can measure off this visor on both sides. That's a long way away. What's closer? Tire? Oh yeah, look at that. We can square right off the tire. So we're coming off the back of the tire, right? So look at that. Bada bing, right? Makes sense? Just a little bit. Let's put it on this tire. Look at that. Just a little bit. See it here? It's just going to move back slightly. There, right there. Can't argue with that. Because the tie wire is right in the way of the fender, slide it back just a little bit more. Because again, an 1/8 inch in this realm, that's plenty close. All right, so that's our lines of parallelism.
Wow, that's like a very big decision to go with. I'm just saying, like, you got to make sure you like know.
When you stand back and look at the car, you're going to look and be like, because, you know, the further back you go, I was looking at that yellow bug, you know, with the cool grill, and I was like, man, if I could change one thing in hindsight, the way the windshield interacts with the door windows would have been something I would have worked on. So there have been a lot of comments too. It's like, oh, well, you accomplished that. Now you got to do the other side, right? So here we are. That's how I like to work. You see, I got the door established. I'm going to flip back over to there. I had those fenders established. So flip them back to here. So it is just a, you know, a template and a mock-up, just trying to match, you know, the inspiration, right? There was really very little measuring or layout in the original design. So, but now they have to be symmetrical. That's where we're at. So I'm looking at this. It appears that I would just wrap this right through, pretty much to there. Again, I'm going to want to really check things out from afar, but this seems to be in the ballpark. I need a different shim for the lower part of this fender. One of those aluminum blocks should do it. So looking at this, setting into place. Now we want it to look nice with the tire. Hit that round crossbar at about that height. And we want this. You want it right there. The car is set as low as it possibly can be with the suspension, so I'm confident in mocking up the fenders really tight at this point to the rubber. The tires really won't cycle that way much more at all. I got this thing laid down. So yeah, looking at that and that, I like that. Now, in a perfect world, my octopus appendage would reach over and grab that drill, but here we are.
Would you like me to go get the drill? What if I wasn't here?
What if I wasn't here? Look at this. Watch this trick. This is called, what is it, Jenga? That's not going to work. See, here I am alone in the shop. I got everything just right. How am I going to do this? I don't remember this looking like, oh, because this gets cut off, that's why. Okay. So I was saying at about 25 and a half. So this is low. This is 24 and a half right through there. Let's take a look at the other side. Oh yeah, look at it right through the middle. Just about where the center is. That's clearly an inch lower on that side. So, I like to use these lines on the tire for a reference, and you can see how it's just coming right through. Like, that looks really nice. And it is a bit ahead of the rubber here, from that same line, we're at about 3 inches ahead. Let's compare that. Yeah, so the outer line, this has got to come up, definitely. And then looking like that, that's about right. 3 inches, roughly. So, I guess we're just going to raise this up a wee bit. That doesn't add up because, see, this looks nice. And just to say, it's coming through here. See, look, that looks pretty cool. Let's look at the other side. It's up a little bit. So that's the half and half game. We're going to bring that fender on the other side up. See, so it's above that, somewhere into that body line there. All right. Add a little bit here. I got these two blocks. So since I have this pin, I'm going to raise it up on the pin, slide this in there, drop it back down. Want that here, like so. That touching that, that touching that. Yeah, so now you're seeing this a little bit more. That looks good. So we want 25 and a half, roughly at the axle. Look, that's close enough for government work. I'll take it. Shim that up just a hair. Bada bing. All right, cool. So let me put in one more pin. Right, like that. I like it. Yeah, see over there? That's where we want to be. Yep, just touching. I like it. 25 and a half. And just a little bit up, just like the other side. Comes right into where that body line would have shown on the other side. I can live with that. Yeah, look at this. And then look at the other side, right in the same parallel.
I'm trying to get it. Oh yeah, I see.
You know, just looking at this, right? You can see how it just appears to get a little wider towards the back because of the fender. So we can live with that. Ideally, you know, I'd have a big wall I could just push right up against the car here. I don't have that, so it's just eyeballing it. But looking at this and gauging off of the tires, you know, that's what's going to count in the end. That it looks okay with the tires. So, yeah, so look at this. This is the envisioning moment, right? You could stand back. So you're looking at this right here. I'm just hanging that wall that I mentioned, right? Hanging the drape, right? It's coming back. It's coming right to here. And the fender itself, with this being vertical, that looks good. You know, you're looking right down the side of that. Yeah. Yeah. I can live with that. So I think this has been informative. Probably I'll do a time lapse of this. I'm not sure. It's up to our editor and director. But the process is going to be the same as this. Glom a whole bunch of fiberglass on there, and then get into the bodywork. You know, we in the end, this whole layout is exactly what that looked like. That's what I'm up to. Fill, sand, repeat till it's right.